If you want to sign more clients for your agency in 2025, then you really need to position your offer in the strongest way possible. This video specifically will be going over how to craft a cold email offer that will print appointments in your calendar. Now, what you need to know is that most people have a demand capture offer where you can only really capture demand of people that actually want this service right now. But those that are winning with cold email have the strongest offers and have demand generation offers where you can actually create demand out of thin air. So in this short training, I'm going to show you exactly how you can pivot your business from having a demand capture offer to a demand generation offer where you can literally create demand out of thin air. So hopefully you enjoy this video. If you do want to join my completely free school community, the link is in the below. And if not, no worries. I hope you enjoy the video.
If you are not seeing results from your cold outreach, it's likely because one thing is holding you up. That one thing is likely your offer, right? So in today's section of the course, I'm going to explain to you exactly how to frame your offer for any service. I've literally just jumped off a call with a coaching client, one-to-one coaching client that runs a carbon reduction offer, where how they help manufacturing companies basically do their carbon plan, offset their carbon footprint, and he's struggling to grow it. Now, this really highlights the importance of having a strong offer and how to create a strong offer, because without this, you will basically get no traffic and you'll get no attention in your offer, you get no interest, right? So what our client, let's call him client A, was selling was, like I said, carbon reduction plans, right? Carbon reduction. This is what the whole script orientated around. Like, hey, we can help you reduce your carbon footprint. We can help you offset your, carbon things, emissions in your business. Everything was around the actual thing they help them do, which is carbon reduction. And we've been sending thousands of emails, right, through cold email. I know this is a very different offer, but it still paints the picture. We've been sending thousands of cold email with basically little to no interest. We'd use good case studies, like pretty much the foundations of everything you would actually expect to have in a good high converting cold email, and it still really wasn't getting much traction. So what I've done here, just literally jumped off the call now with this client, is we've reestablished their offer and created something that will definitely generate them interest, right? The reason why you might not be getting interest if you're doing everything you're meant to be doing in cold email is because you have a demand capture offer, right? This means you cannot create demand for it. You basically just have to wait for people to have a need and then come to you. So carbon reduction, we're not going to reach out to someone who doesn't need carbon reduction right now and say, hey, we can help you with carbon reduction. They're not suddenly going to become interested, because you need to have this sort of thing on your mind right now in order to actually buy the service or use the service, right? So you're very limited to only a percentage of the market that's willing to buy. Let's say this is the whole market. Maybe only the very thin slice is actually ready or thinking about doing carbon reduction right now. And that's why you're still able to get some replies and some level of interest, but it pretty much solely relies on volume, nothing else. Whereas what we need to do is position our offer in a demand generation way, okay? So we need to take our offer from being demand capture to demand generation. We literally create demand, right? So this will just attract to anyone and everyone. So you might be thinking, how on earth do you do this for your offer, and how do you do it for a carbon reduction plan, right? Carbon reduction plan offer. So we're reaching out to manufacturing companies. What do manufacturing companies actually want? Probably the same thing that pretty much any business ever wants, which is more sales, right? More leads, and more money per client. Yeah? So what we can do is, instead of selling a carbon reduction plan, we can sell more leads, more sales, more money per client through a greener brand image. Right? Through a greener brand image. This is our mechanism. So see how the outcomes go from the features. That's not how we want them, but this is what they were before. So before, the outcomes were pretty much the features. Right, I put that here because we don't want them to be that. Now, the outcomes are the end benefits, right? And we achieve them through the mechanism of what we're selling. Through selling the mechanism, right? Through selling mechanism. The way we can do this is, once again, is by appealing to what every business actually wants. Instead of trying to sell them what they need, which might be carbon reduction plans or carbon offset, footprints and all these things, we sell them what they want. And what they want is more sales, more money, more leads, all of these things. So if we create our cold outreach message to speak to these pain points and speak to these desires of the market, it's going to be much easier to help them land clients, right? So you see how our offer has changed from, instead of offsetting carbon footprint and doing carbon plans, we're now growing and establishing manufacturing companies through branding and acquisition to sign higher LTV contracts and make more sales. So they're going to make more money as a direct result of this. What I've done with my client is show them the typical manufacturing sales process of one of their clients or prospects they're reaching out to, and you can go in and say how a greener brand image, which is effectively what you're selling, can enhance all of these things to get more website inquiries, to get more visits at trade shows, to get more LinkedIn inbound, right, and more leads. And part of the qualification process was compliance as well, so this really helps. So what I've shown them is, for this example, you can create packages around this offer, where the thing my client really wanted to sell was their carbon reporting, which cost them, or they sell it for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, right? But what you want to do is obviously have a big, bold claim around this and a big, bold offer. So the intro/start offer could be the actual carbon reporting, which is the low ticket stuff, the one that actually want to sell. And obviously this is needed as a foundation to build anything on top of, whether that's branding, sales, etc. We need the foundation, we need the actual compliance in place in the first place. So I said to my client, they should have this as the starter package and then have a mid and high level package as branding, compliance posts, outbound, help with trade shows, and have these at significantly higher price points so they act as a price anchor. That's meant to be my anchor, right? So if we're selling stuff at 8 and 12K, it makes this seem way better value and will direct people more to actually close for this, which is what my client wants to sell anyway. So we're effectively leveraging the people's psychology to make more sales with this, right? So instead of their initial script, which I don't actually have in front of me, it was something like, we can help reduce your carbon footprint in the next 27 days by doing this, blah, blah, blah. We help this company do it. Instead of saying that, the business owner probably doesn't really care too much about that unless it's on their mind right now. What they care about is implementing a system that will generate 47% more inbound inquiries from well-funded enterprises, as well as increasing the close rate of these proposals. The way we'll do it is we help manufacturing companies build and position themselves as compliant and green in the market to close more and bigger deals. Would you like to see how we've done it? So this message is going to get substantially more calls booked than just saying, hey, are you interested in carbon reduction plans? Because once again, we're selling the pure outcome of this, the absolute end benefits, instead of the features, right? So if you're struggling with your offer, you're not quite sure how to make it more attractive, this is one of the things you need to do. You need to position it as a demand generation offer instead of a demand capture offer. So hopefully that's useful. If you are looking for any help with this, give me a DM in the school community and I'll be happy to help out. But that is it for today's video.